The hottest sun in Ouagadougou didn't stop the convoy. But one blind man did. And in that pause, a president chose who he really was. The Ouagadougou sun pressed down like judgment. Not heat, pressure. The kind that makes even shadows give up and lie flat. The presidential convoy moved without ceremony. No sirens. No flags snapping in the wind. Just the low, controlled growl of engines and the whisper of escort bikes slicing through dust. Inside the lead sedan, Captain Ibrahim Traoré leaned forward. Alert. Not rushed. Not relaxed. His red beret rested on his lap. His eyes moved slowly, deliberately, like a farmer reading clouds before a storm. Excellency, Captain Traoré said quietly, checking his watch. 7 minutes to the palace. Ibrahim didn't look away from the street. 7 minutes is nothing, he murmured, unless the road asks us to be human first. Ahead, a neem tree spread its arms wide, offering the only honest shade for blocks. Beneath it sat a man, thin, still, proud in a way hunger couldn't steal. A white cane lay across his knees. A dented tin bowl rested beside him. 2 coins inside, clinking like tired bones. His eyes were clouded, unfocused, blind. Yet his face turned toward every sound. A bicycle bell, footsteps, a whispered prayer passing by. A child dropped a coin. It rolled into the dust. The man reached down, fingers sweeping the ground, finding nothing. Then he smiled. God's tomorrow, he whispered. Ibrahim's voice cut through the convoy. Stop! Brakes sighed. Engines softened. Dust settled. Guards stepped out, but not aggressively. They formed a circle of respect, not force. The air carried the smell of fried dough from a nearby stall. Life didn't pause. It watched. Ibrahim stepped out of the car. Boots met dust. Sunlight caught his watch. His hands were empty, visible, human. He approached slowly. Baba, he said gently, lowering his voice. May I sit? The blind man turned his head. If a stranger asks permission, perhaps he is no stranger. Ibrahim sat on the ground. Dust clung to his knees. My name is Ibrahim, he said. What do the children call you? The man smiled, weary but warm. They call me Baba Salif. It makes me feel taller, though I have no sons. Ibrahim nodded. Respect makes fathers of us all. He glanced at the bowl. 2 coins. Nothing more. Baba Salif, Ibrahim said softly. Shade is kind, but it does not fill a stomach. Salif chuckled. Today the shade is generous, he said. Some days, even the sun demands payment. A vendor shouted from across the road. Old father, bread later. Promise thin as yesterday's rain. Ibrahim gestured. A guard stepped forward with a warm parcel, rice and sauce. The rustle of paper was louder than traffic. Baba, Ibrahim asked, may I place food in your hands? Salif accepted it carefully. His fingers tightened. Thank you, son, he said, but I will carry it home. Ibrahim paused. There is a child, Salif continued. A girl, Amina, 8 years old, sharp as a needle. A smile crossed his face. She believes her father is a giant. I cannot let hunger make her doubt it. Silence stretched. And her mother? Ibrahim asked quietly. Salif's hand trembled. The paper crinkled. Gone, he said. Fever came like a thief, who already knew the door. For a moment the city faded. Ibrahim studied the man's face. Worn, but unbroken. Not alms, he thought. Proof of survival. Baba, Ibrahim said, his voice steady. Come with me to the palace. Salif laughed gently. The palace does not welcome men who cannot see the carpet they walk on. I do, Ibrahim replied. Salif shook his head. Here, under this tree, people give because the sky watches. In big places, people forget their pockets. The palace is only a roof, Ibrahim said. Your tree holds more truth. He leaned closer. That's why I need you to come, so the palace remembers the tree. Salif grew quiet. If guards dislike the shape of my poverty, he said carefully, they may leave me farther than I can count. Ibrahim raised his hand. Every guard froze. "No one will move you against your will," he said. "I am not inviting you as charity." He extended his hand. "I am asking you as a guest. Tell me what the street remembers, that roofs forget." Pause. "And if tonight you wish to return," Ibrahim added, "I will walk you back myself." Salif tilted his head. "Beautiful shoes still step on ants," he murmured. "Then step with me," Ibrahim said. "Not as a blind man led, but as a father escorted." Salif hesitated. Then he raised his hand. "Fragile. Steady." Ibrahim clasped it firmly. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Phones lowered. Some moments were too sacred to record. Inside the sedan, the city blurred past. Salif held the food on his lap. "I have not sat in a car since." "Since before?" Ibrahim asked. "Before my eyes fell asleep," Salif said, smiling faintly. "They are stubborn. Perhaps your palace has an alarm loud enough to wake them." "If it doesn't," Ibrahim replied, eyes on the road, "we will build one." At the palace, Ibrahim refused ceremony. No fanfare, no speeches. He guided Salif into a quiet guest room. Clean bed, folded clothes, water, fruit. "Rest now," Ibrahim said. "At dusk, we will share bread." He paused at the door. "You will tell me your story, and I will tell you what I intend to do with it." Salif touched the sheet like scripture. "If you can carry a story," he said, "perhaps it can carry me back." "It will do more than that," Ibrahim promised. Outside, night approached, heavy with a conversation that would change more than one man's future. At dusk, Baba Salif would begin his story, and when he finished, Ibrahim Traoré would make a decision that no one in the palace was prepared for. Cloth speaks, if you listen closely enough, tells you where the needle belongs, where the hand should slow, where the mistake can still be forgiven. Baba Salif's fingers rested on the table as he spoke, moving as if they still remembered fabric. "That's what my wife used to say," he murmured. "Mariam." She could hear silk cry before it tore. Ibrahim leaned in. "What changed?" he asked. Salif inhaled slowly, the way men do when they know the memory will hurt. "She came home from the bakery with a fever," he said. "By nightfall it was burning." He paused. "The clinic asked for a deposit before they would give her a bed." Ibrahim's jaw tightened. "I begged," Salif continued. "I told them she only needed to lie down first. They said rules are rules." His voice lowered. "By the time I found the money, her hand was already cold in mine." Silence filled the room. "I'm sorry," Ibrahim said, "not as a leader but as a man." Salif nodded. "After that, my eyes began to blur. First the edges, then the center." He smiled faintly. "I still worked. Musa, my apprentice, helped me cut cloth. But brides don't want steady hands alone. They want eyes." His hands clenched. "One blouse, just one mistake." She cried. He swallowed. "I left the shop key on the wall and went home with empty pockets." Ibrahim waited. "And Amina?" he asked gently. Salif's face softened. "She is not my blood." Ibrahim looked up. "On the day I buried Mariam," Salif continued, "a woman collapsed at the cemetery. A baby was pressed to her chest." His voice trembled. "She whispered, 'If I don't wake, take her. Her name is Amina.' She never woke." A long breath. "I raised Amina. She laughed before she could sit. Now she fights the world with a pencil in her hand." He smiled through pain. "She is 8. They sat in silence. Then Ibrahim asked, quietly, "And the tree?" Salif exhaled. "The tree listens," he said. "In the morning, it gives me a place to belong. In the afternoon, it forgives how slow I am. At night, it lets me hear the city's tired heart." Ibrahim's eyes sharpened. "And who makes you pay to sit there?" Salif's fingers tightened around his cup. "A man named Karim," he said. "He calls it seat rent." Pause. "If I don't pay, my bowl is kicked over. If I complain, boys follow Amina to the well." Ibrahim's voice hardened. Steel beneath calm. No one will follow Amina again. Then softer. But first, your eyes. He leaned closer, studying the cloudy pupils. Baba, he said, this looks like cataracts. Sometimes, fog can be cleared. Salif laughed, short, disbelieving. Cleared? You have someone who can do that? I do, Ibrahim said. Her name is Dr. Adele. A knock interrupted them. A compact woman entered. Sharp eyes, pale coat, confidence in every step. Excellency, she said dryly, last time you pulled me from dinner, I removed a nail from a soldier's eye. Ibrahim gestured towards Salif. Tonight, it's fog. Her expression changed the moment she saw him. I'm Adele, she said gently. I'm going to shine a light into your eyes. She worked with precision. Penlight, scope, stillness. No pain? She asked. Only when I try too hard to see, Salif replied. She straightened. Dense cataracts, she said. But the retinas are strong. She looked at Ibrahim. We can operate. One eye first. 10 minutes. He could see again. Salif's breath caught. See? He whispered. At dawn, Adele said. No deposits, Ibrahim added firmly. No delays. Free, Adele said softly. Always free, Ibrahim replied. Her hand rested on Salif's shoulder. I can't promise perfect vision, she said. But I can promise you'll see your daughter's face again. Salif's hands shook. That is all I ask. When Adele left, the room felt lighter. One more thing, Ibrahim said quietly. Karim keeps a ledger, doesn't he? Salif nodded. A page for every tree. Then we take the ledger, Ibrahim said. But first, your sight. Before dawn, the palace was awake. The city stretched and yawned as they drove. Bread lids opening. A boy chasing a wheel. A dog yawning at the sun. At the hospital, a clerk slid a form forward. Deposit before theater. Not today, Adele said. Ibrahim stepped closer. What rule says sight must wait for money? Silence. From today, Ibrahim continued. Life comes first. Deposits come later. He turned. Print it. Hang it. Big enough to be read by the blind. In the operating room, the air smelled of soap and metal. You'll see lights, Adele said. Warn me if you need to sneeze. I'll behave, Salif joked weakly. Ibrahim watched through the glass. The enemy here wasn't blood, only cloud. A flicker. Power cut. The generator coughed. A nurse froze. Adele didn't. We're fine, she said calmly. We can finish even without power. Minutes later, done. In recovery, Salif felt a small hand. Amina, I wore the ribbon you don't like, she whispered. So you can scold me when you see it. Tell me the color, he asked. Mango, he said, smiling. Almost ready. At noon, Adele lifted the shield. Salif blinked. There is light, he whispered. At the doorway, Ibrahim watched. This was no longer about one man's eyes. It was about a country learning to see. By sunset, Karim's ledger would be in Ibrahim's hands. And the next morning, the tree under which Salif once begged would witness a reckoning no one expected. Baba, Ibrahim said softly, I'm less handsome than you imagined. Salif studied his face, really studied it now. Then he broke into a grin. You're shorter than your voice. Laughter filled the room. Light, honest, healing. Thank her, Ibrahim said, nodding toward Dr. Adele. She did the work. A nurse entered with porridge. Amina took the bowl like it was a medal. She lifted the first spoon carefully and fed her father, pride shining brighter than the morning light. Between bites, Ibrahim leaned closer. Baba, he said, lowering his voice, I need your help. Captain Sori entered, holding a thin folder. We found the ledger, he said. No bruises. As ordered. Ibrahim looked at Salif. If you'd rather not see it, we'll handle it. But your eyes know the tree better than ours. Salif opened the folder. Dates. Amounts. tally marks grouped in fives. His smile faded. I taught someone to count like this, he said slowly. When scissors were busy, he used chalk. Always crossed the fifth stroke. Ibrahim looked up. Who? Salif swallowed. My apprentice. Musa. The name fell heavy. Sori slid a photograph across the table. A thin man in a cap holding the ledger. People call him Karim. Salif leaned closer. Karim is the disguise, he said. But the walk. His voice steadied. The walk is Musa's. He leads with his left shoulder. Like he's always about to apologize. Amina's face tightened. Baba, she whispered. He's the one who scares women at the water pump. The room went still. Ibrahim didn't raise his voice. Captain, he said. We picked him up at dawn? Yes, sir. No cuffs. Water and a chair. Lawyer present. Bring him. Not in my recovery room. Adele cut in. Ibrahim nodded. On the terrace. Your rooms are for healing. The terrace is for decisions. Birds hopped along the railing as two officers escorted a thin man forward. He looked defiant, until he saw Ibrahim. Excellency, he said quickly. You call yourself Karim? Ibrahim replied calmly. But a torn knows its own stitch. Salif stood. The man hesitated. Musa, Salif said. Silence. People call me. They call you what you ask them to, Salif said firmly. I taught you to cut with the grain. You chose to cut against it. Musa forced a smile. When you closed the shop, he snapped. How was I supposed to survive? The tree was empty ground. I made a system. A system, Ibrahim said, that steals from the poor. Everyone takes. Musa shot back. The police. The officers. I'm not the only one. Sori slid another page forward. Names. Arrows. Percentages. Silence returned, thicker this time. Salif stepped forward and held out his hand. Give me the book. Musa hesitated, then handed it over. Salif's voice didn't shake. You used the marks I taught you to count theft. That's what hurts. Not the coins. Musa's shoulders collapsed. I was angry, he whispered. I thought you chose grief over me. Salif closed his eyes. I was drowning, he said quietly. Blindness took me under. I didn't know how to call. Ibrahim stepped between them. Here's what happens, he said. You return every coin taken in the last 3 months. We repay the people with interest. You name every official who took a cut. Musa nodded, shaken. In return, Ibrahim continued, you work publicly, repairing stalls, stitching uniforms, teaching apprentices. And if I refuse? Musa asked. Then the law finishes the sentence, Ibrahim replied. Musa swallowed. And if I agree? Then you pay your debt in daylight, Ibrahim said. Not hidden in a cell. Musa looked at Salif. You'd let me work with cloth again? You'll learn, Salif said. Which side of the needle hurts? A pause. And you'll stitch my first sign. Orders moved fast. No deposits before urgent care. Clear signs on clinic walls. Hotlines that answered. Vendor permits with dignity. Call it something people can say with pride, Ibrahim said. The Street Dignity Program, Sori replied. 2 mornings later, Salif second, I was done. When the shield came off, there were no tears. Just a full smile, reaching both eyes. By afternoon, Ibrahim led them into a small house. 2 rooms, patched roof, a courtyard for washing lines and chalk drawings. Amina traced the wall. When it rains, she said, the water will clap for us. It will, Salif replied, touching the wall like an old friend. 3 streets away, a narrow shop waited. Sunlight through the window, a hand-crank machine humming like memory. Above the door, a sign. Neat letters. A small mango ribbon painted at the corner. Inside, a framed card read, no deposits before emergencies. Work with dignity. School uniforms repaired free on Fridays. Musa stood at the back, tape around his neck. 2 apprentices straightened. Master, Musa said quietly. Salif nodded. "Today," he said, "we work the right way." That evening, Ibrahim drove past the neem tree. The bowl was gone. In its place, a bench and laughter. The street had not forgotten. It had learned. Outside the shop, morning unfolded like a promise. Captain Traore and a councilwoman pinned a fresh notice to the wall. The paper fluttered once, then held. Street Dignity Program. Vendor permits here. A line formed almost immediately. Men balancing trays. Women carrying baskets. Teenagers clutching small bundles of goods and big hopes. A policeman wrote names not to punish but to protect. Some people had papers. Some had only letters. Some brought nothing but folded prayers. The councilwoman hesitated. "No documents?" Ibrahim stood beside her, hands clasped behind his back. "We accept what proves they're real," he said calmly. "We'll build the rest. No one disappears just because they don't have a printer." He stayed only minutes. No speech, no cameras, just a handshake for Salif, a smile for Amina. "I'll come back as a customer," Ibrahim said lightly. "My sleeve and elbow don't get along." "Here," Salif replied, patting the counter. "The cloth will." Then Ibrahim Traoré walked away, already opening other doors across the city. The shop woke slowly, like a careful heart. A schoolboy needed a badge stitched back onto his uniform. A taxi driver asked for a pocket reinforced. "For honest money," he joked. A widow brought a dress from younger days, too tight with memory. Salif loosened the seams gently. "Let it breathe," he said. He spoke little while sewing. He listened, to the machine's hum, to waiting footsteps, to life passing close. Musa cut fabric too fast. "Slower," Salif said. "The fabric notices." Amina ran the notebook proudly, a mango-colored ribbon taped to its cover. "Your name?" she asked each customer, writing carefully. By the first Friday, children lined the door with uniforms pinned and folded. Next, Amina called, firm, serious. Laughter filled the shop. The week felt lighter. Salif's health returned in pieces. Stronger hands. Color in his cheeks. A cough that faded with rest and real food. Each evening, before closing, he touched the sewing machine in thanks. One hot Tuesday, the bell rang. A woman stepped in, soaps tied with twine, indigo scarf wrapped neatly. "Peace," she said. "I heard the tailor under the mango sign helps with uniforms." "We are strict with loose buttons," Amina replied. The woman laughed. "My name is Khadija. I sell soap 2 alleys down. My son, Idris, starts school next week. This shirt was someone else's. It doesn't fit him right." Salif felt the seams, the collar. Something stirred. "Khadija," he said slowly, "you came to the tree once." Idris was crying. "I gave him half my bread." Her hand flew to her mouth. "You were the man in the shade," she whispered. "I prayed for you." "They reached me," Salif said quietly. "In the hospital." She smiled through tears. "Let me pay." Amina tapped the sign. "Uniform repairs are free on Fridays. But today is Tuesday, so it's free if you promise to bring a mango next time." "A mango?" Khadija smiled. "And a soap strong enough for stubborn dirt." She returned again, then again, sometimes for repairs, sometimes for tea. She spoke of her stall, of her husband taken too soon, of Idris's fear of letters and love of climbing. Salif didn't charm. He listened. In her pauses, he heard the weight of courage chosen by necessity. One afternoon, Musa approached the counter holding a wooden box. "I made this," he said quietly. Inside, a small plaque, braille dots shaped like a mango ribbon. Salif ran his fingers over it. "Thank you," he said. "Put it where my hand lands first every morning." Khadija watched. Later, Salif asked softly, "Will you and Idris join us for tea on Friday? Amina makes biscuits that break every rule." Khadija smiled. "We'll be honest critics." Friday felt like a festival without drums. The shop smelled of starch and shea butter. A bowl of mangoes sat in the window for luck, not eating. By late afternoon, the line thinned. Tea was poured. The street noise softened. Salif rubbed his hands on his cloth. I have a question, he said. Khadija smiled gently. Amina warned me. I didn't warn, Amina protested. I prepared. Salif inhaled. Before I lost my sight, I thought life was cloth and coins. When my eyes closed, I learned its hands and voices. When they opened again, I learned it's about keeping promises. He looked at Idris, at Amina, then at Khadija. I don't have fancy words, but I know honest work. His voice steadied. Will you do this work of life with me? Stand with me when the market is loud, when goats misbehave, when children pretend they don't hear. Silence. Then, yes, Khadija said softly. Then stronger. Yes. Idris hugged Salif. Can I call you Baba? Whenever you want, Salif replied, voice trembling. Before sunset, Ibrahim arrived quietly. Plain clothes. No announcement. Dr. Adele followed, pretending she was just checking stitches. Ibrahim listened. Permits. Hundreds issued. Clinics. Signs up. Deposits after care. And the tree. Salif smiled. There's a bench now. The plaque says, Shade charges no rent. Ibrahim nodded. Good. Then he slid a folder across the counter. The Street Dignity Program will buy uniforms for the poorest schools this year. The first contract starts here. Salif read slowly. We accept. The apprentices cheered. That night, lights were strung across the courtyard. Food steamed. Laughter rose. As the stars settled, Ibrahim prepared to leave. Excellency, Salif said, walking him to the gate. How do I repay what you did? Ibrahim smiled. Do what you did today. Pay workers on time. Teach a boy to cut straight. Stitch free on Fridays. He paused. That is government. They clasped hands. Not president and citizen. Just two men who once sat where fog retreated. Under the neem tree, no bowl sat anymore. Only a bench. Waiting. Because dignity, once given room, never leaves quietly. If the story moved you, share it so dignity travels. Subscribe so stories like this keep finding light. Sometimes leadership doesn't raise its voice. Sometimes it stops a car and listens.